Alright everybody, I recently bought these, which I thought would be good to show you, because this was an amazingly good deal I got on these. I might as well open the bag and get them out. I got a set of two ABEK P3 filters. There you go. A2, B2, E2, K2, P3. So very, very good ABEK P3 filters. That are in date as well. Run out on the 10th of 2018, so October 2018. RSG filters. In date, all properly sealed. Two of them. For less than £10. Now, the point of this video is that yes, you can get reasonably priced filters if you look around hard enough, because that's the problem lots of people seem to have on here, is they say, you know, I want to buy an in-date filter, but they're really expensive, and remember, this is going to guarantee the safety of your life if you put on a mask. I'm obviously not going to open these now. These are going to go in some of my mask satchel bags ready for use in an emergency. But the point is that you can get in-date filters for reasonable prices if you look around hard enough. So, what I want to do in this video is give you some tips on finding actual in-date filters that are well priced. Now, annoyingly, this was the last lot the seller had I was buying from. I guess people were buying these really quickly from because it's that eBay thing where it says, you know, so many sold, last one. But I'm going to definitely check this seller out in the future to see if they get any fresh listings of filters up, because if they do, they actually price them reasonably. As at £5 per filter, basically, for, you know, then £10 for two filters that are in date for another 8 months. At least, you know, they will last a bit longer than that, and they're actually good ABEK ones, they're not A1, B1s, they're A2, B2, E2, K2, P3s. So, yeah, if you are interested, there is some advice I'll give you when you're looking for filters online, and that's not to actually be typing in 40mm NATO filters and things like that, because most people who are selling the filters competitively are doing it for industrial filters. And, as I've said before, but if you haven't caught it before in videos, that a military filter, a CBRN filter for example, is just an ABEK filter. It's an ABEK P3 filter, at least the good ones are, and basically it's just called a CBRN filter because it's being used by the military. A regular ABEK filter does all the things a CBRN filter does, because the vast majority of chemicals that are used in warfare are called TICs, toxic industrial chemicals, also TIMs, toxic industrial materials. The only two military chemicals that I know of that aren't considered to be TICs or TIMs are like mustard gas and lewisite, so blister agents, and nerve agents such as, you know, tabun, sarin, VX, those sort of things. So all of those things are blocked regardless. The nerve gas and the sort of blister agents would be blocked by an ABEK filter as well, but the point is that most militaries now use ABEK filter types because everything they really need to block, like, you know, 99% of all chemicals being blocked are kind of considered toxic industrial chemicals. A lot of people fallaciously try and, you know, boast the word, oh, I know what TICs means, that means I'm an expert on gas masks or whatever, and then they, you know, start saying lots of untruths again, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect. So yeah, what you need to be doing is, I'd say first, unless you're going down the 3M route of, you know, using a 3M mask of 3M filters, because you can get some of those cheap, type in RD40, so Romeo Delta 40, and RD40, as I've said in previous videos and people have asked before in the comments, RD40 is like the industrial name for 40mm NATO. They don't call it 40mm NATO Stanag if you're, you know, using them for industrial use, because that would sound weird. They just call it RD40, but it's the exact same thing. So Draeger and lots of other companies make, you know, these filters, and if you type in RD40, there's a lot more competition between the brands of filters, because obviously, with military surplus, you're not really meant to be getting it as a civilian, so you're only then therefore buying it as surplus when it's actually out of use, and filters won't go out of use till they're out of date. That's why it's not really a good idea to look for, you know, surplus 40mm NATO filters. Now, that's not to say some people who sell these filters might say RD40 and then put 40mm NATO on the side or something like that, you know, because they know that people might be buying it for a military respirator. But regardless, what you want to be doing is actually trying to weigh up, you know, how much you should be paying for one. And then, as I said, RD40 is good because there's lots of companies that make these filters and different suppliers. They're all going to be trying to compete with each other to offer the RD40 ABEK filters at a sensible price. So I advise using both Amazon and eBay, as I always say, and then you type in RD40 filter, and then you look for the ABEK type. You could type in RD40 ABEK, ABEK. You don't need to, and then see what the results come up, and then you can sort them by price and whatever else, and see if you can spot something that's, you know, reasonably well priced. Obviously, check the description to make sure they're in date. Check they're, you know, a well-known seller. As I said, this is what really surprised me with those. £10 for 2 in-date ABEK filters. I was going, that can't be right, but I've got buyer protection on eBay, I'll buy them. Oh yeah, look, they're all sealed. They're exactly what they're claiming to be. So, you know, you can get lucky with these things if you just spend enough time to look around. It's like when people say to me, how did you get that respirator? I can't see one for sale, all this blah blah blah. Well, you just constantly keep checking eBay. If you check eBay every day or two for what you want to look for, you'll eventually spot one when it comes up and you can get it for a good price. So, as said, if you are looking for filters, what you want to do is type in RD40 filter or RD40 ABEK and then see what comes up and see if you can get something at a sensible price. What I'm just going to do now is I'm going to check eBay and I'm going to see if I can see anything that's a sensible price. I'm not going to be putting links in, but just to let you know, on ebay.co.uk at the moment, can I see any filters that you know, are sensibly priced like those? And if I can, I'm going to just say, you know, although this video is not going to be going live on the day I've made it, I will be saying that, you know, at the moment as of looking, you know, I can actually see filters at a sensible price. So let me just check that now. Well, I'm pleased to announce, after a quick look on eBay, there are even more of these filters available. Again, for about £10 you get 2 of them, so around £5 per in-date filter. Isn't that great? So, as said, if you want to look for filters, just type in RD40 filter, RD40 ABEK, something like that, into eBay search. See what comes up. This particular one is RSG, the manufacturer. But yeah, it actually does seem like you can find these filters at a very sensible price online if you actually are prepared to look. And this really does break down the fallacy a lot of people have that you can't buy a surplus respirator for protection because either, you know, all the masks don't work or all the filters are long since expired. Yeah, normally the filters they're sold with are expired, but there's absolutely nothing stopping you buying a surplus mask that's in good condition, then yeah, spending $10 or whatever, £10, get 2 brand new filters. Imagine that you keep both filters sealed, put them in your satchel, use the expired filter that came with the mask for training reasons, and then in the filter in the satchel you've got your 2 spare filters ready to go, to unplug, to wear, and then when they expire you just spend another $10, you know, and get another couple of fresh filters, and then every year you're spending less than $10 if you're going to do it that way, actually keeping the filters in date. And then you're probably going to be like me, where you get, if as long as it's sealed properly, you're going to trust it for a year or 2 out of that expiry, and then, you know, so every 3 years you're going to spend $10 on filters. That's not very much to keep you alive, in my opinion, in case anything did go horribly wrong. And if you had so many of those filters, you know, and you hadn't used them when they're out of date, you can open them just and use them for general maintenance type stuff where you might be having low levels of vapour. And yeah, that's another thing. There are, if you are interested and wanted to spend a lot more and didn't want to keep buying filters, for I think about like £30 or $30, you can often buy like the Avon filters that are sealed in like a plastic tub. The US does a similar thing with C2A1 filters. They're like sealed in a metal or plastic tub. You rip the tub open, then you open the seals on the filter, and because those are sealed so well, they have like normally something like 10 to 20 years on the expiry date. So if you wanted to spend less money, you could pay a bit more for a single filter and then just keep that. But I said, I'm going to be perfectly happy, to be honest, with these filters even after they've technically expired for a bit, because as I said before, filters don't go wrong overnight, but they don't last forever either. So the likelihood, I think, that I'm going to be exposed to chemical weapons or, you know, some sort of toxic industrial chemicals is very low, but it's always very good to keep in-date filters around in an emergency in case you need them. But yeah, if you're looking to get filters without spending an arm and a leg, just type in RD40 filter to eBay or Amazon and see what the cheapest offer you can find from companies that sell filters. Just check their in-date in the description, obviously, because buying out-of-date filters is a bit pointless unless they're super cheap and you just want one for training with. But yeah, for £10 I've now got 2 in-date filters, which are proper ABEK P3 ones, will protect me from pretty much any chemical weapon. So now I can put those in my respirator satchel bags that I'm going to plan on use in a sort of event, and I've got in-date filters in there, so win-win.